everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Cordros Wealth Lounge podcast. My name is Adenike and I lead the Mass Affluent team. And with me here is Kofo Rola. She leads the private wealth team here at Cordros. Our conversation today is born out of the trend of the Japa syndrome. We found out that a lot of HNIs have moved their families abroad for no other reason than wanting global mobility. So today we have with us a distinguished guest. Her name is Chidima Okebalama. You can also call her Chi. Chidima is a senior consultant at Henley and Partners. Chidima advises high net worth individuals across the globe regarding global mobility and legacy planning. Welcome, Chidima.
Good morning. Welcome, ladies. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you.
Thank you. The first thing I want to say is I want the whole outfit. Plus the wig.
It's
That's
really
fine.
lovely.
The wig. Thank
Thank
you
you so much for the
Yeah,
compliment.
very lovely. But it's a pleasure to be here.
Mm.
Like you said, my name is Chi. I'm a senior consultant at Henley and Partners. As a client advisor, I advise high net worth families and their advisors on, like you said, legacy planning, global mobility, and residency and citizenship options.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
That's a
yes.
very interesting topic. The reason we brought you here today
Yes.
is to shed more light on why HNIs would rather move their families abroad, even though they have established and successful businesses here in Nigeria. You find out that they are just moving their families so they can stay for the stipulated period before they can get their citizenship, and then they move their families back. In fact, in some cases, they do not. Now, based off of that, let me ask you this first question. How does global mobility fit into wealth management and succession planning?
That's a very great question. And I'm glad you brought me on the show so that we can dispel so many myths.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
There are so many myths around migration.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many myths around investment migration and what that entails.
Yeah.
For one, this Japa syndrome.
Yeah.
We're actually against it.
Oh, wow.
We're actually against it because what we provide is solutions that enable you to actually stay within your home country. If you have the ability to, let's say on a whim, go to the US, go to the UK, stay your 2 weeks, go for a meeting in Paris, go for a meeting in China. In fact, I had a client call me today to talk about China based on the passport they have. There's nothing that says you have to leave Nigeria.
Of course.
Majority of our clients make their money in Nigeria. Majority of our clients have companies in Nigeria, industries in Nigeria. So what we've realized that for investors now, there's a certain kind of wealth you have. Even if you don't have that kind of wealth, options become a thing, right? When you look at someone, and you're in asset management, so when you look at some of your clients' portfolio, I have a house in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
I have a house in this.
Sure.
I have
Absolutely.
We see that happen.
Same thing. I have a passport here. I have a residency. I have it, and it's become a thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
wow.
trend
Because
now.
it's become a thing because what we've realized, especially for the African investor, our Uncle Dangote even said it, that for him, he requires about how many visas? 30-something visas.
To go within Africa,
To
right?
go across.
Wow.
Meanwhile, where's the time to apply?
On the visa.
And then if you calculate all those things, it's money.
It is.
Now, UK visa
And
is
it's
how
also
much?
expensive.
It's very expensive.
Mhm.
So instead of waiting, and time is money.
It is. Really
Then
is.
you get a rejection for no reason. The visa person that day was not in a
We're
good
just not
mood.
comfortable.
Yeah.
They give you a rejection. So there's a certain level of wealth you attain.
Yeah.
That these things should never be a problem anymore.
Absolutely.
And there are reasons why people do it. It's not just to relocate. It's for, yes, it is for lifestyle, but for the African investor, it's to be able to access more of the global GDP. For the Nigerian passport, we only have access to 1.5% of the global GDP, and that is around Africa. Not to say that people don't go across the borders to conduct business, but it's a lot more difficult doing it on just one passport. I'm sure they have JVs with with people in different countries, because for you to enter a certain country, you need to probably be able to get a partner in that country, right? So that their local content laws could be fulfilled or whatnot. But yeah, that's just saying so much. But for legacy planning, what we've realized is that our investors are looking for options to have stability, options for where they can diversify.
Oh, yeah.
And what we've realized now is that global mobility has been strongly tied to financial mobility. The more access you have to the world, the more financial opportunities you can attain.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Chidima. Currently, what country will you say has the strongest passports, and how do you think they maintain that position?
So Singapore is the country with the strongest passports currently.
Okay.
So it changes every quarter.
Okay.
And funny enough, Henley and Partners, we are the ones that do the passport index.
Okay.
I'm sure everyone, sees is HPI, Henley Passport Index. And what that basically is it's an index that qualifies your visa-free travel based on the passport that you have. So for example, if you can go to a country without visa, the value is 1. So it's like 1. You can go to America, 1. You can go to Canada, 1.
Yeah.
So at the end, you count how many countries you can access.
Now, create an index.
Yeah, and you create an index from that. Singapore is the highest country. So there were about 6 or 7 countries that were tied in Q1. Italy.
Oh, really?
Yes, the Italian passport is actually very, very strong.
Oh, wow.
There were some Japan, but now Singapore just kind of edged out. And one of the reasons why it edged out is also because Singapore has a high openness index in the sense that it's not very difficult to get a visa to go to Singapore.
That's true.
So when there's reciprocity, then the visa free travel numbers go up. And when there's ease of doing business in the country, tourism as well is a very, very high touristy area.
It really
and
is.
a lot of people visit, etc. So they've kind of etched themselves in that zone. And I also think that in the next 10 years, my personal prediction, I'm not saying I don't have a magic ball, is that Dubai will probably get there.
Oh, wow.
Because for the first time, Dubai has gotten to the first 10 strongest passports
in the world.
And the reason why it's not difficult to get a visa, maybe unless you're in Nigeria.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's not difficult to get a visa.
And the citizens can move.
The citizens can move around. And then also it's a high tourist area. And then the ease of doing business in Dubai as well. So if we're looking at the Nigerian passport, we have access to only 45 countries visa free.
True.
And majority of those countries are in African
countries.
Yes. And then also our openness index is not that high.
There
are not a lot of
I recently found that out.
Yes, there are not a lot of countries
that can come
into Nigeria without a visa.
Wow.
I mean, we have a big roadshow coming up at Henley, and all the partners coming. There was not one of them that did not require a visa. Yes, and they were just like, to Nigeria? I'm like, yeah.
That was my shock too
I'm
when
like,
I realized.
to Nigeria. What do you mean?
I'm like, I thought we would have like open borders and all of that. But no. Apparently, you can even get denied.
Absolutely.
Even if you're an American or you're from Singapore, you will get denied for maybe no reason.
Yes, so those things help. So even the ease of doing business here, we can see that, through research, the countries that are just, they have friendlier policies, they have ease, even ease with banking, etc. Their index numbers go up.
Okay, Chidima, what emerging trends are you seeing in the global mobility space, amongst the HNIs?
I was having a conversation earlier on with you.
Yeah, okay.
And Kofo did not believe that Americans are actually seeking alternate residency.
I was actually
I hear they moved
mentioned
to Dubai a lot. That's what I found
they're
out
moving
recently.
So basically, everybody is moving everywhere.
Everywhere. True.
So the emerging trend is that everybody is moving everywhere.
Okay.
And there are reasons why.
Okay.
Right? Some of the reasons, depend on the economic changes within the country.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a new prime minister
Oh, yeah.
who the HNIs feel, I don't like his policies. So they seek to travel somewhere else. For example, Brexit. Brexit has created a lot of business for us in the sense that the HNIs in the UK are looking to other European countries to acquire residencies, just so that they have another option. During COVID, America was kind of like a black sheep. If you had an American passport, you almost could not go anywhere except your country. So HNIs in America, who have their own private jets, who probably even have their own islands, could not land on that island because you don't have a passport of that place. So with global pandemics or things that happen globally, you then get to see that I don't want to be stranded.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's all about mobility. It's all about freedom.
So they then tend to have like a second thought.
Then you have a second thought. You start to say, if something like this happens again,
I don't want to be
I don't want anybody to tell me that I cannot. So they decide to.
Now that you brought this up, we might as well talk about it now. So what are the best strategies for ensuring a smooth exit, when there's a crisis or something in your country?
Okay. Yeah. So I think the best strategy is one, to have a plan B. And when I say plan B, what I mean is that you need to have either a second passport or a third passport.
Oh, yeah.
Or a fourth passport, because there are people on that level now, right?
But I would have thought
or
that
a
it would
second
be a
residency.
disadvantage to have like 3 passports.
So you have to find out if it's legal.
Okay.
There's some countries that offer dual citizenship.
What about the tax
Or
implication?
you have to renounce.
The tax implications.
Tax implication. Okay, first of all, I'm not a tax advisor.
Right.
And tax is so specific in the sense that each jurisdiction has a
rules.
different rule. So at Henley and Partners, we do have tax services
Right.
where if a client of mine comes to me and says, I want to get a multi-residence, please, what's XYZ? Then we collaborate with the local tax agents like the specialists in Malta.
Okay.
Schedule a meeting and then they discuss it, because it's not like a one size fits all. Tax, yes, is a very big thing to consider when you're migrating or when you're just having options. Because some people say, as long as I don't live there, you just never know. You just need to find out from your tax specialist, and that's a service that we provide as well.
Oh, fantastic.
For around the globe. If you have a specific country you're dealing with, if the country has dual taxation like the US, so it's just one of those things that your advisor would advise you specifically to the country that you're looking at, all countries. And then based on, I guess, their tax laws, you can decide which one is more favorable to you, if that's like the major thing that you're looking at. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, right? It's more of this or that. So quick processing or comprehensive due diligence, what should you prefer?
Comprehensive due diligence.
Why?
Because I don't want to hear stories at the end of the day. Comprehensive due diligence. Also, it's one of the things that is a changing face in this industry. There were so many countries that maybe had quick processing, and it's now becoming frowned upon because you do need due diligence so that your citizenship will not be revoked.
Oh, wow. So that's even possible.
It's possible.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lifetime, investment. So why not just do it the right way? It's not about how quick it is, about doing it the right way, doing it with the right service providers, doing it with, people that you've done your own due diligence on and you can trust. So that eventually when you get your passport, no one's knocking on your door asking you, are you sure you paid in full? Are you sure you did the right investments? Are you sure you did the right government bonds, etc.?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to choose between the Caribbeans and the European countries, which would you choose? What's your preference between the Caribbeans and the
European countries?
Yeah, currently.
Okay, so can I give a long answer?
Yeah,
feel free, please. So this is your show.
If I want to go for a party now. Somebody tells me my 40th is in Australia.
Yeah.
Next year. Let me not use Australia. My party is in Singapore.
Next
year. Mexico.
Next year, September. I'll get a Caribbean passport today. I'll start the process today so that by next year, September, I will have my passport
So
in
are you
hand.
talking about time frames now? Is that why you're choosing?
Yes. So that's why
Okay.
I'm talking about timeframes and goals.
Okay.
Right.
But if I have little kids,
Hmm.
this is a personal
Oh,
thing.
Okay.
And where it's St. Savior's and I'm looking what's next.
yeah.
And I say, you know what? If we get a European residency, by the time they're 16, they can be eligible for citizenship. And a European passport has more leverage than
Right.
a Caribbean passport. So it all just depends on. But if I'm
Your
a businessman,
preference.
China,
Oh,
week in, week out,
Yeah.
let's just get this thing, keep it moving. But if it's like a family, like this is what you call legacy planning,
I
right?
get you.
And estate planning.
Yeah, something to consider.
And these citizenships are inheritable.
Yeah.
So I would
That's the
rather
beautiful thing.
pass on a European citizenship because one, an EU passport gives you access to the 26 Schengen
Countries.
states, and you can work, live, school there.
Wow.
Once you get the passport,
Wow.
but it is a longer process. It's a slow burner. It's only Malta and Austria that gives you direct paths to citizenship.
So like how long?
interesting.
How long is this process
For Malta or for the other
for
ones?
European countries?
So for the European countries, most of them have a stipulation where you have to be a legal resident for at least 5 years.
Okay.
Then there's the next step of maybe you do permanent residency, or maybe you can apply for a passport.
Okay.
Not for a passport, for a citizenship,
Citizenship,
of which
okay.
you get a document, which is a
Yeah,
passport.
All right.
So for Malta, Malta is a quicker process. You can do a 12-month route or a 3-year route. And then for Austria, you can get it within 3 years. So the other ones do require you to have a residence period, which is what you were talking about.
Right.
The 5 years period, right?
Yes, within the 5 years, you have to be there for at least 6 months a year. Most of the countries, the UK, US, Canada, most of the EU countries have it. Portugal is the only one that allows you legal residency is 7 days a year.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
So we have a lot of Nigerians doing Portugal
So
because
relaxed.
it's
flexible.
It's very flexible, and then you just advise them during the summer spend
go there.
spend a few months there. Even though if they say 7 days, then you do 70 days. So there's nothing that is hindering you from getting your citizenship when it's time.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
This or that, USA or Singapore?
In terms of passports, Singapore.
I don't know. I didn't say, I just said this or that.
Like, what's your
USA or
preference?
Singapore?
In terms,
On top of your head. What would you pick?
with everything I know,
Yes.
Singapore. It's a beautiful country.
It is, in fact.
It's a beautiful country. The US is big.
Pretty big.
So when you say US versus Singapore, it's like Singapore versus like 9 other countries. Because the West Coast and the East Coast completely different.
Yeah.
North and South
In
completely
my head, I
different.
thought you say USA for that fact.
Oh, because it feels like
Yeah,
You
yes,
get
like
you
hot
get
cake.
9 in 1, that kind of thing.
but the Singaporean passport is now the strongest
There you
passport in the
go.
world.
There you
right?
go.
But is this the first time the Singaporean passport is being number
No,
one?
it's been number one before.
Oh, okay.
But then other countries, it fluctuates. It fluctuates. There's no right or wrong or good or bad. It's just at the moment right now, Singapore, because of its openness index, it's gone very high. Yeah. So the more countries, for example, I would see that very soon Rwanda would keep going high, or is it Kenya? Because I know one of those countries just agreed that they'll be able to. All African countries can come into the country visa free. So that's gonna really, really help their openness index, help the economy. And once your economy starts getting stronger, ease of doing business starts getting higher.
True.
Your index will go up.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fun fact, Singapore also has the most beautiful airport in the world.
It does. I spent Christmas at that airport last year.
Really?
Yes,
No, it's
yes,
such a
yes.
beauty to
Yes.
behold. Like,
Okay, let me answer your question again. Singapore to visit, America to live.
Yeah.
Better.
I'm with you on that.
Both worlds.
I'm with you on that.
Yes,
yeah.
best of both worlds.
Interesting.
Okay, Chi, something is actually coming to my mind, and I'd like to hear your opinion about it, right? So, would you rather focus on wealth preservation or lifestyle improvement?
Can I have both?
Absolutely.
Why?
I'll pick one.
So wealth preservation. No, the HNIs, they have both. Why can't I have both?
Yeah.
Because which is why I would get a Cordros, right?
To advise
me on
managing your portfolio.
on managing my portfolio, so that I can actually Jaye.
Yeah, you
And
know.
still
Yeah,
preserve your...
yes,
Okay.
because you can have. I think you can have both. It just depends on how much faji, like how
And
much
how you-
enjoyment
and
you
how you
want to,
plan your
and how you plan. Yeah,
finances.
you can plan your
True.
finances. Your money make money for you, and
True.
then half of the year you're on a boat.
That's a very
Nice.
smart decision.
Yeah. I want
It is
I want
indeed.
everything in this life.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. It's been an amazing session with you today, Chi.
Thank you so
Such an
much.
honor to have you here
Thank
today. We
you.
learned so much about global mobility.
Thank
Now
you.
we're already thinking about getting our Singaporean passport.
Such an eye opener.
Yes.
Who would have thought? I would have thought that USA
US,
would, top the list, but
Yeah.
there you have
What
The
Singapore.
US is the 8th. Sorry, the
Wow.
9th. The
No
9th.
Wow.
The 9th.
kidding.
Yes,
Look at
yes.
that.
Canada is 8th now. So the
Wow.
Canadian passport is higher
It's
than
even
the
stronger than the
US
USA.
passport.
It is
Wow.
stronger.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Who
It is
would have
stronger.
thought?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. I
you for
hope the
joining.
viewers at home have learned a lot today. And then if you would have any questions for Henley and Partners, please contact us using the information scrolling on your screen. Thank you so much for joining us today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Thank you.
Thank you and have an amazing day.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.